Hi Steve fans and welcome back. While some divers profess a love of nudibranchs and other tiny critters, for many divers it's the bigger the better. And so here I showcase some of the best big animal encounters on the planet. For those here for the first time, my name's Mark and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Scuba Diver media brand. And welcome to the Scuba Diver YouTube channel. Take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Give that bell a ring so you get notification of the latest releases. Want some free stuff? Everyone loves free, right? Check out the description below for all sorts of goodies, like a free digital subscription to any of our magazines. Where we can, we'll link you to the destinations or equipment we talk about in the support our channel section in the description. For transparency, we'll earn a small commission each time you purchase after clicking on one of these links, and this will go directly back into making more content for you to enjoy. Now, let's dive into the video. Basking sharks. Every summer, right off our own British Isles westerly coastlines, comes a creature of mega-sized proportions. The second largest fish in the sea after the whale shark is just as majestic and harmless. Basking sharks come to our shores every summer when our waters warm up and the plankton blooms. If you live in the south of England, they can appear as early as May, and if you're up nearer the north of Scotland, you might have to wait as late as July. At first they come in small groups, but at the peak can be found in quite large congregations. With their large, broad dorsal and sweeping tail fins and huge gaping mouths, when you first see them underwater, it's the most awesome experience. And all you need is a mask, fins and snorkel. And an expert to tell you where they are. A lot of surface spotting by everyone on board is required for the first hour or two when you're on a trip. But if you're lucky, you can spend loads of time in the water with the sharks on a good day. And you'll be happier if you're in a fit condition so you can keep up with them. Basking sharks were once hunted almost to extinction, but numbers seem to be recovering. Up to 900 were spotted on one day in an aerial survey of the northwest coast of Scotland. We're discovering more and more every year about these majestic creatures. A project by Scottish Natural Heritage to tag the species in Scottish waters found the sharks are travelling up to 1,900 miles in some cases before reaching the water off the west coast. Whale sharks. A top big animal encounters list wouldn't be complete without the largest fish in the ocean. Reaching up to lengths of 45 feet and weights of 20 tonnes, these creatures truly are massive. But don't be fooled, whale sharks are some of the most graceful, placid animals in the ocean and offer divers, or more frequently snorkelers, the opportunity for some mesmerising close encounters. Though whale sharks do have teeth, several thousand of them in fact, they're tiny and they're not used for eating. These animals are filter feeders and enjoy a diet that predominantly consists of plankton, krill and small fish. So, where's best for a whale shark encounter? It's an easy one, Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. While you can enjoy encounters with these underwater behemoths in locations such as Indonesia, the Maldives, Philippines, and the Red Sea, there's no beating Mexico, both in terms of the opportunity to encounter the animals in the first place and the quality of those encounters. It's all down to migration patterns. Each year, huge numbers of these fish migrate north up Mexico's Caribbean coastline, congregating in vast numbers. While diving with these congregations is not allowed, visitors are allowed to snorkel. Add to this the chance of seeing manta rays and dolphins in amongst the throngs of sharks, and it's easy to see why this experience is rated as being one of the best you can have under the waterline. And without even having a tank on your back. Manta rays. Of all the great places to dive or snorkel with mantas, perhaps none is more spectacular than Bar Atoll in the northern Maldives Islands during the monsoon months of June to October. There are several noted manta locations, including Bathala and Hanifaru Bay, but it's Hanifaru that qualifies as one of the single most unique manta, and whale shark by the way, sites ever discovered. Hanifaru, a closely protected marine area allowing snorkelling encounters on only designated days each season, is a small sand-bottom bay approximately 50 feet deep, and it's located just inside the reef line of a steep oceanic wall. When the winds are right, an upswell is created that carries clouds of deep water krill over the reef into a football field sized portion of the bay. With nowhere to go, the krill are packed into a thick living soup and the feed is on. Mantas quickly appear, occasionally as many as 100 to 200 at a time, swooping and soaring, mouths agape, through the swirling clouds of krill. On very special days, several whale sharks will join the fray, standing vertically upright in the water and content to gulping krill without the need to move. For the snorkelers and freedivers who experience this rare phenomenon, it's a life-changing experience never to be forgotten. Dugongs. Dugongs are one of the rarest seagoing mammals in the world, yet in the south of Egypt there are a couple of unassuming small bays which offer you a much better than average chance of encountering one of these gentle giants. Sometimes called a sea cow, these behemoths can reach lengths in excess of 10 feet and weigh more than 500 kilograms. Yet they're very docile and you can carefully approach them quite closely for some superb photo opportunities. The area around Abu Dabab near Marsa Alam is a hotspot for dugong activity, possibly thanks to the prolific seagrass growth smothering the bottom of the bays. It's a dugong's favourite food. Many dive centres run special dugong shore diving day trips to the region, such is the appeal of these ugly but cute creatures. Seeing them hoover their way across the seabed like an underwater vacuum cleaner is a fantastic experience, it has to be said. Humpback whales. Each May, a migration of behemoths begins in the seas of Antarctica. After nearly 6 months of gorging on krill in the cold waters, the region's humpback whales begin annual journeys northward. Some 2,000 of them swim to Idyllic Tonga in the South Pacific, a trek of nearly 5,000 kilometres, where they'll spend from July through to October, mating, giving birth, singing and general socialising. In this season, the whales can be found virtually anywhere in the archipelago's warm, clear lagoons, but especially around the Hapai Island group. Visitors have perhaps the best opportunity of any place on the planet for near constant sightings of these majestic, huge creatures. Adults reach 50 feet in length and weigh some 35,000 kilograms. And for snorkelers and freedivers, because scuba diving is not allowed, it's incredible and practically indescribable in water encounters. They're almost a daily occurrence. The whales, especially mothers being tolerant of their calves' inherent curiosity when meeting humans in the water, can be surprisingly calm and accepting of extended interactions. And if you're lucky enough to find yourself in the midst of a mating competition or a dominance display where the huge bulls are jostling and tail slapping, you become but a tiny, awed presence, unnoticed amongst a dance of titans. Grey seals. The Farne Islands are a rugged group of islands just off the Northumberland coast in the UK, and they're home to one of the largest grey seal colonies in the world. It's around 1,000 seal pups born each autumn, so there's plenty of inquisitive young seals that are happy to approach and interact with the divers and photographers that flock here to visit. The diving here is excellent, but the highlight is to get intimately close to these wonderful, playful creatures. You can dive along rocky inlets covered in colourful corals and then suddenly find yourself with 4 or 5 of these endearing animals playing and chasing each other, or they may just be snoozing while wedged between 2 rocks. Stay shallow, among the kelp or on a sandy seabed, and they might even come right up to you, tugging on your fins or even putting their mouths around your camera lens. The best way to see them is not to seek them out or try to follow them. Play it cool. They'll come to you, and once they do, they will stay with you, giving you one of the most privileged wildlife encounters the UK has to offer. Nile crocodiles. You spend your days travelling amongst the Botswana Delta's hundreds of tributaries until you spot what you're looking for, a 13-foot long Nile crocodile basking in the sun. At your boat's approach, it slides into the water, disappearing from sight. Out at midstream, along with 2 guides, you back roll simultaneously, going straight to the bottom. No surface time near silhouette hunting crocs. Slowing yourselves on the bottom in the 1 to 2 knot flow, you move through 55° Fahrenheit, 6 to 8 feet viz water to near the bank, where crocs will hide amongst the fallen trees and irregular terrain. Then, there it is, an utterly fascinating, seemingly prehistoric creature, huge on the bottom, its glare white teeth shining oddly in the gloom. On some dives there's only a quick glimpse before it moves. On others, you'll get a photo or 2 before it's gone, if you've seen one at all. And just occasionally, the croc remains utterly still, allowing you image after image from less than a few feet away. Once a croc has gone, or has not been quickly found, it's back out across the bottom to mid-channel where the boat moves above you. You remove your kit, ascend straight up together under the shadow of the boat, hand up your stuff and immediately pop in over the side. Then it's time to start the search for your next croc. Full on diving. Leopard seal. Leopard seals are a fierce predator, so named because of their spotted coats and large jaws. They look totally different to other seals, with large, almost reptilian heads and big streamlined bodies that are capable of travelling at over 25 miles an hour when in full hunting mode. They can weigh up to 450 kilograms and measure over 13 feet long. They eat fish, penguins and even other seals. Yet despite being at the top of their game when it comes to hunting prey, they're also very inquisitive and will approach divers quite closely to check them out, which can make for some extremely exciting encounters. Bulked up with dry suits and other cold water equipment, divers in Antarctic waters will be dazzled by the acrobatic movements of this sleek killer, which has the unnerving habit of gaping its toothy jaws up close and personal. So make sure you've got your camera ready. Great white sharks. There is very little on Earth or under the sea that compares with being face to face with a 20-foot long great white shark with no cage bars between you. It's a very different experience than cage diving at the surface where the sharks are attracted by chum. The sharks are calm and unaggressive, acting like other top-end predators in their own dominated world. Curious, utterly unafraid, but apparently quite interested in a close-up view of a human. And if you happen to be that lucky human, the thrill is sublime. Off Guadalupe Island in Mexico, each year from July through to November, more than 100 migrating great whites make for frequent encounters in calm, clear, something like 130 feet and more viz, warm water. While the surface cage encounters are also thrilling, it's the 20 to 30 foot deep, perched on the top of the cage encounters that are the most special. Unaffected by food in the water, a shark will come in slowly, turning its huge head to affix you with a black, fathomless eye from only a few feet away. In such quiet moments, you can clearly see not only the shark's powerful beauty, but also the extreme violence of their lives, in the bite marks from matings and in the deep gouges and scratches from their immense struggling elephant seal prey. Goliath grouper. Some 48 miles offshore from the west coast of Florida lies the wreck of the Fantastico, a 200-foot Honduran freighter which went down in 1993 in what has become known as the storm of the century. It was carrying fertilizer from Miami to Tampa when it went down, taking 7 of the crew of 10 with it. So what? Yet another wreck, I hear you say? Well, it just so happens that this shipwreck, which lies in 2 distinct sections with a flattened midships between, provides a shelter for one of the most impressive fish in these waters, Goliath grouper. And I'm not just talking about 1 or 2, we're talking triple digits. Goliath grouper are absolutely enormous, easily weighing upwards of 500 pounds and measuring around 7 feet long for the whoppers. So coming face to face with one is a memorable experience. Multiply that by 100 and you get some idea of what a dive on the Fantastico and other wrecks in the Florida coastline are at the right time of year and what they can be like. It's actually quite intimidating to be surrounded by these beasts, especially when they resolutely stand their ground when you approach and emit an underwater boom to warn you away. The wreck itself is also very photogenic, with a large mast and crow's nest, and it's all covered in marine growth. But in the brief time that I had on it when I dived it, the Goliath demanded and got all of my attention. What are some of your best big animal encounters? Leave your comments below, and if you've got a question, fire away, because if we can't answer it, maybe someone in our community will be able to. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget that you can grab a free digital magazine subscription in the description below. As always, stay safe, and if you're going diving soon, enjoy.